Hi there. Thanks for tuning in to Make This Happen, where we discuss an idea we've been dying to see come alive. Every week, my friend, Alexander Gonzalez, and myself, J.E., will bring you a product you never knew you needed. Now, let's talk about the Order 1886. It's been a long time coming.
That werewolf proper game that was really cinematic that people talked about that for some reason isn't part of the PS Plus collection, and I thought it would be.
Did you play it? You didn't.
No, I never played it.
You never played it? I think it's definitely worth a shot just playing it once. It's a lot better than what people are making it out to be. I really liked it, and I wish there was more, and I still want more. And it launched pretty early in the PS3 life cycle. I remember it was like a couple years into it, I think. Since the PS3, or was it PS4? I don't know. It was on the PS4. It was early on the PS4 life cycle. Sorry. 2015, February, and it came out and people were pissed.
Why were they really mad? Like they said the combat was bad or that it was short?
It was like 6 hours. It was super short. Full price game at the time, $60. And they advertised the shit out of this game. And all the trailers was always like about sorry, give me a second. They're all about like how much work they put into the game and how much they tried to make everything look great and make this one of the best games ever. And then it was a 6-hour game. And when it ended on the biggest cliffhanger. And I always thought when that scene was happening, I was like, oh, the game's just getting started. We're just about to like dive in. We have like 6 more hours ahead of me.
You're like, this is great.
Yeah.
What an opener to Act 1.
Right. That's what I thought. I thought the title scene would hit the Order 1886.
and it's the credits. And you're like, all right, awesome. That's a great opening. Almost like Red Dead. And then you play and you're like, menu screen, title screen. Thanks for playing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the credits started rolling and I was like, that's it. I think I beat it in like 2 sittings. It was a full price game.
Yeah, $60.
Yeah. And like I had high expectations for this thing. But I loved it. And I thought where it ended, like I said, I thought it was just ramping up and I thought it was just about to go and just be amazing from there. The main character had a dope ass name. His name was it started with a G.
Gerardo.
Galahad. I thought
what?
Galahad was such a cool name.
Galahad?
So Galahad. Yeah, and they're all British and they had all it was dope, dude.
Galahad.
Anyway,
Galahad.
We're gonna take this. If the Order was to ever come back, and I'm so sad to think it's not, because Ready at Dawn, the developers, are now just a VR studio. That's all they do, is just make VR, and that's it. And maybe the Order will come back as a VR game, but I don't think so, because the whole idea was that the fidelity of it is so great. Like I remember one trailer was like, we have this many pixels in just his nose or whatever. And it's like, this is the most pixels on any nose ever in history of video games. And they had a whole GDC thing about it, about how they did all these pixels and stuff. But where I want to take, if they were ever to make a sequel, I don't want them to make The Order 1887. I want them to make The Order 1996. You take it 110 years into the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? 110? Did I do the
1886
math right? Plus 1996?
Yeah, that's 110
years. Yeah, so you take it 110 years into the future. If I remember correctly, the Order was all about how these half breeds, these werewolves, were just kind of beginning to come up all over the place. And then there was also vampires in this universe. It was all crazy. Like it was vampires and werewolves versus this like government like special forces unit with crazy advanced weapons and shit. And they went out to fight these guys. And so 110 years passed. They probably failed, and now vampires and werewolves roam the streets of London, right? And I guess it's the new resistance force or whatever that come together, bring back these old vampire and werewolf killing weaponry, and you just go out into London and just start destroying all these werewolves and vampires to bring it back to the humans. What do you think?
I want it to be like that, but I want it to be dark like Batman is in Gotham City. But instead of it being like full of crime and weird shit like Jokers and Scarecrows, it's going to be filled with weird shit like werewolves, vampires, and demons. And there's like a crew that goes in and is trying to get rid of them. But they're just like, when the city turns to night, it gets fucking just bonkers. And when it's a full moon, no less, it's even worse. And when it's a blood moon, what are you going to do?
Yeah. I think it's going to be super
like
linear
with the subway.
And, story based. Yeah, the subway's definitely going to be in it. The underground, not modern London, but 90s London, you know? So I think like, I mean, I wasn't there, but I imagine punk and grunge is in its like height.
And I can even imagine, yeah, where like the secret is at the very top, the royals are also werewolves at this point.
Or
like they've
vampires.
taken over.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, or vampires.
Or vampires, because that's already like a running joke, right? That
Right.
the royals. Okay, I'm like, is that?
Yeah, I like it, and definitely, I feel like it would be like you going from mission to mission, kind of like Naughty Dog Uncharted style, where you're like going to take out your target
and
in each area and like kind of bring down the big forces on both sides.
And I see that, yeah, where Act 1 and Act 2, you're bringing down the big forces, and then in Act 3 and Act 4, the royals call the European like religious leaders. So then there's just a bunch of vampires showing up, like old ones that are 100 years old, like families. They're there to try to preserve the way things are, and then like you're facing just way crazier.
Yeah, I think the game starts off as a simple exterminate the generals, you know, like try to get rid of the generals of both sides, werewolves and vampires. But when they start taking a notice of this rebellion group rising up, I think the game all of a sudden shifts to you're not taking out the small dudes anymore. You're trying to take out the big bad because they're after you. And so now you're trying to go. And maybe the game ends with you taking out like the prince, and then the game ends after that. And then the sequel, surprise, now you're in 2006. 2226 is now.
So
where
yeah,
you're
you
at.
get to see a bunch of your consequences kind of go over time.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And you've noticed that you've still failed. Now it's the future. You have sci-fi weapons, and now there's still a vampire werewolf war going on around the humans who are just trying to struggle and survive. But now we're talking about 2226. But that's generally my idea. I just want Order to come back, and I want it to be a great linear story telling you this crazy, awesome story about this vampire werewolf war that's been raging for ages and ages, and they're just humanity is just trying to survive during this entire time.
I see all of that, and then I can see like not only just that, but on top of that, like the advanced weaponry going faster. And then I want to do this, but I know it's a ripoff of one book, but where they eventually send knights, but instead of knights, it's almost like they're wearing suits that are like battle armor ready, but also with like crosses and stuff, and they're like sending them out. So they're like Christian knights that are sitting there trying to dispel everything around them.
Yeah, I could see that happening because the weaponry gets pretty intense, I think, even in the Order 1886. I should have replayed this game to like be ready for this, but I didn't. I just went off my memory that's shoddy as hell. This was 7 years ago. I barely remember what happened yesterday. But I think, can I convince you? Maybe we could get this on sale or something, but we should just both play the Order 1886 and then make a podcast about it and how it should come back. Or how you think it shouldn't come back.
I am tempted if it's
What's
the right price. If they're like $70.
What if it part of Sony Spartan or whatever? It's part of that. Would you do Spartan? Are you interested in Spartan? I'm so in. Like,
yeah, I'm interested because that would allow me to try a bunch of different games.
Yeah. But if you ever play the Order, let me know and I'll play with you and we'll go through and talk about it later and we'll record our thoughts and refer to this episode. But the next part of this discussion, who takes over the Order 1996? Because it's not going to be ready at dawn. It is a Sony property, so it has to be a Sony game. Is this a Naughty Dog? Is this a Insomniac? Is this a Santa Monica? Because I think, personally, Naughty Dog has another team, a new team, right? Mm-hmm. I think that there's supposed to be like a multiplayer team or something like that. But I think you could just give them this and make this a Naughty Dog game, but from another team that isn't the Uncharted Last of Us team.
Let's do Sucker Punch. And then they make like, instead of Infamous, they're doing something like this.
Interesting. That would be interesting.
Because like a Super's World.
Yeah. I'm down. I'm down for Sucker Punch. For sure. Sucker Punch. Make this happen. Thanks for listening. If you have any suggestions for products you'd like to see talk about, feel free to write in at apphoundgames@gmail.com. We have a Patreon. If you like to join the AppHound family, come find us at patreon.com/we'renotgamedaz. Patrons receive episodes 2 days early, meaning make this happen. It's your ears that much sooner. If you enjoyed our show, take a second to give us a review. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Store, and more. Catch you guys next Sunday with Alex's idea.
Masks.
Like COVID masks? Like
yeah, we might as well.
Masks?
Might as well. Okay. We're around in this corner. Let's finish it off.
Let's finish it off when it's almost no longer necessary in certain areas of your life. But I'm down because masks have gotten to me in my ears.
Oh man. I'm not symmetrical at all, so my ears are at different levels. So one of my ears takes the brunt of the mask wearing much more than the other. And then if you combine that with glasses, your ears just get tired.
Yeah, mine's mainly just the glasses and
ears and then fogging. And then if you have to not take a break because you're on a plane flight for 5 hours, boy, oh boy. Right.
Sneezing, if you accidentally sneeze in there. Oh.
And then that mask is fucked.
And if you're a smoker like us, phlegm, all up in there.
Oh my God. Definitely. Horrible, 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 horrible.